Something unexpected is happening right now, and it's quietly transforming the lives of thousands of Australian families. For years, Malaysia was just that tropical country Australians visited for cheap holidays. But today, there's a surprising shift. More and more Australians are not just visiting Malaysia, they're moving there permanently. And it's not just retirees looking for warm weather. It's young families, remote workers, entrepreneurs, and even healthcare professionals. So what's going on? Why are Australians leaving behind the beaches of Sydney and Melbourne to start fresh in Kuala Lumpur, Penang, or Georgetown? The answer isn't just one thing. It's a powerful combination of factors. Malaysia's incredibly low cost of living, world-class healthcare at a fraction of Australian prices, vibrant expat communities, delicious food culture, proximity to Australia, and yes, real quality of life. In this video, we'll explore exactly why this shift is happening now and what it means for Australians struggling with rising costs back home. From Malaysia's booming expat scene to its surprisingly excellent healthcare system, from peaceful retirement havens to thriving digital nomad hubs, this isn't just relocation. It's Australians discovering that you don't have to sacrifice comfort to escape financial stress. And by the end, you might just ask yourself, is Malaysia the solution to Australia's cost of living crisis? Let's dive in. The cost of living revolution, living large on less. Imagine cutting your monthly expenses by 70% while actually improving your quality of life. That's not fantasy, it's daily reality for thousands of Australians now living in Malaysia. Let's break it down with real numbers. In Sydney or Melbourne, renting a decent two-bedroom apartment costs anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000 per month. In Kuala Lumpur's premium neighborhoods like KLCC or Mont Kiara, you can rent a modern, fully furnished two-bedroom condo with a pool, gym, and security for $600 to $900 per month. But it's not just housing. Groceries cost 60% less. A meal at a nice restaurant that would cost $80 in Australia costs $15 in Malaysia. Domestic help, transportation, utilities, everything costs a fraction of what Australians are used to paying. Meet Trevor and Christine Walsh, a retired couple from Brisbane. 2 years ago, they were struggling to make ends meet on their combined pension of $4,200 per month. After paying $2,800 for rent, $800 for groceries, and utilities, they had almost nothing left for enjoyment. We were living like paupers in our own country. Trevor told me from their apartment in Penang. We worked 40 years, saved diligently, and couldn't afford to enjoy retirement in Australia. Today, the Walshes pay $650 per month for a beautiful 3-bedroom apartment overlooking the sea in Batafaringi. Their monthly expenses total about $1,800, including entertainment, dining out 3 times a week, and a part-time maid who comes twice a week. We save more money now than we ever could in Australia, Christine explained. And we're living better than we ever imagined. We have a cleaner, we eat out regularly, we travel around Southeast Asia. This is what retirement should feel like. The Walshes represent a growing wave of Australian retirees discovering that their modest pensions go 3 times further in Malaysia while maintaining, or even improving, their standard of living. For younger Australians, the math is even more compelling. Digital workers earning Australian salaries while paying Malaysian prices are building wealth impossible back home. Take Jessica Chun, a 32-year-old graphic designer from Sydney. She earns $75,000 annually working remotely for Australian clients. In Sydney, after rent and expenses, she was saving maybe $500 per month. I was living paycheck to paycheck earning what I thought was a good salary, Jessica said via video call from her Kuala Lumpur apartment. I couldn't afford to buy property. I couldn't save for retirement. I felt stuck. Today, Jessica pays $700 per month for a modern studio in the city center, spends about $800 on all other expenses, and saves over $3,000 every month, 6 times more than in Australia. In 2 years, I've saved more than I did in 8 years living in Sydney, Jessica explained. I'm on track to buy investment property back in Australia with cash. Malaysia isn't just cheaper, it's allowing me to build actual wealth. From retirees to remote workers to families, Australians are discovering that Malaysia offers something Australia no longer can: the ability to live well without financial anxiety. Healthcare, world-class care at fraction of the cost. For many Australians, especially retirees, healthcare costs are the main reason they're leaving. Australia's public healthcare system is strained, wait times are increasing, and private healthcare is becoming unaffordable. Malaysia offers a surprising alternative. Malaysia's private healthcare system consistently ranks among the best in Asia. Hospitals in Kuala Lumpur and Penang meet international accreditation standards. Many doctors are trained in Australia, the UK, or US, and the quality of care matches or exceeds what you'd find in Australian private hospitals. But here's the shocking part. It costs about 70% less. Meet David Park, a 71-year-old from Adelaide with chronic health conditions requiring regular monitoring and medication. In Australia, even with private insurance, his annual healthcare costs were around $8,000, between premiums, gap payments, and medications. My health insurance premium alone was $450 per month, David explained from his apartment in Kuala Lumpur. And I still had to pay out of pocket for most procedures. It was financially crippling. In Malaysia, David pays about $150 per month for comprehensive expat health insurance through a local provider. His regular specialist appointments cost $50 each instead of $200. His medications cost one-third the Australian price. His annual healthcare costs have dropped to about $2,500, saving him over $5,000 annually. The quality is actually better, David said. I see my cardiologist within a week instead of waiting 3 months in Australia. The facilities are modern. The doctors spend time with you instead of rushing you out after 10 minutes. Medical tourism brought David to Malaysia initially, but the quality of care convinced him to stay permanently. Malaysia's top hospitals like Gleneagles, Pantai, and Prince Court are equipped with the latest technology. Many offer services specifically designed for expats, including English-speaking staff, international insurance acceptance, and even airport pickup for procedures. But it's not just about cost, it's about access. In Australia, waiting 6 months for non-urgent surgery is normal. In Malaysia, you can typically schedule procedures within weeks. Sarah Mitchell, a 58-year-old from Perth, needed a knee replacement. In Australia, the public system quoted her 18 months. Private hospitals wanted $25,000 out of pocket even with insurance. I flew to Penang, had the surgery at a world-class hospital, stayed in what felt like a luxury hotel for recovery, and flew home. All for $8,000, Sarah said. The experience was so positive that when I needed the other knee done, I just moved to Malaysia permanently. For Australians with chronic conditions, families worried about healthcare access, or retirees on fixed incomes, Malaysia's healthcare system offers both quality and affordability, a combination increasingly rare in Australia. The expat community, finding your tribe. One of the biggest concerns Australians have about moving overseas is isolation. Will I make friends? Will I fit in? Malaysia solves this problem with one of the largest and most welcoming expat communities in Southeast Asia. Cities like Kuala Lumpur, Penang, and Johor Bahru have thriving Australian expat communities with social clubs, sports leagues, and regular meetups. You're never far from a familiar accent or someone who understands your cultural references. Meet the Roberts family, Mark, Lisa, and their 2 teenage daughters from Adelaide. They moved to Kuala Lumpur in 2023, worried their kids would struggle to adjust. Within 2 weeks, my daughters had more friends than they did in 3 years at their Australian school, Lisa told me. The international school has kids from 40 countries. The expat community is incredibly welcoming. We've never felt isolated. The expat lifestyle in Malaysia is surprisingly social. Weekly trivia nights at Australian-owned pubs, weekend beach trips to nearby islands, hiking groups exploring rainforests, food tours through local markets. There's a built-in social network waiting for new arrivals. Back in Adelaide, we barely knew our neighbors, Mark explained. Here, we have dinner parties twice a week with friends from Australia, UK, US, and locals. It's the most social we've been in years. Malaysia's multicultural society, Malay, Chinese, Indian, and expatriate communities living side by side, creates a welcoming environment where being foreign doesn't feel foreign. For singles and young professionals, the social scene is even more vibrant. Emma Rodriguez, a 28-year-old teacher from Melbourne, was worried about dating and social life when she moved to Kuala Lumpur. I've never had a more active social life, Emma laughed. There are expat meetups, language exchanges, volunteer groups, sports clubs, and because everything is so affordable, people actually go out. In Melbourne, a night out costs $200. Here, it's $30, so people socialize constantly. The lower cost of living creates a more relaxed, social culture. People aren't stressed about money, so they're more open to spontaneous gatherings, trying new restaurants, or weekend trips to nearby countries. And for those worried about feeling disconnected from Australia, Malaysia's proximity is perfect. Just a 6 to 8 hour flight means you can return for family events, emergencies, or holidays without the exhaustion and expense of traveling to Europe or the Americas. We visit Australia twice a year, Lisa said. It's close enough to not feel permanently disconnected, but far enough that we're living a completely different lifestyle. Food culture, a paradise for food lovers. If you love food, Malaysia might just be paradise. With Malay, Chinese, Indian, and international influences, Malaysia offers one of the world's most diverse and delicious food scenes, at prices that let you eat out every day without guilt. Street food in Malaysia is legendary. For $3 to $5, you can eat authentic nasi lemak, char kway teow, roti canai, or laksa from hawker centers that have perfected their recipes over generations. Mid-range restaurants serve incredible meals for $8 to $12. Even high-end dining rarely exceeds $40 per person. I eat out at least 10 times a week, said Trevor Walsh, the Penang retiree. In Brisbane, we cooked at home to save money. Here, it's actually cheaper to eat out than cook, and the food is incredible. For Australian families, the food culture solves the eternal, "what's for dinner?" question. The sheer variety means everyone finds something they love, and the affordability makes dining out a regular pleasure rather than a special occasion splurge. But it's not just local food. Malaysia's expat community has created a thriving Western food scene. Missing Australian brunch? There are dozens of Australian-owned cafes in Kuala Lumpur serving flat whites and smashed avocado. Craving a proper steak? Multiple Australian-style steakhouses offer quality meat at half the price. I can get Tim Tams, Vegemite, proper bacon, all the Australian comfort foods, Jessica Chen explained. But I'm also learning to cook Malaysian dishes. The food culture here is just richer and more interesting than Australia's. The social aspect of Malaysian food culture also appeals to Australians. Hawker centers and mamak stalls are communal spaces where people gather, eat, and socialize, similar to Australia's pub culture, but healthier and cheaper. For many Australians, discovering Malaysia's food scene is one of the unexpected joys of relocation. It's not a sacrifice, it's an upgrade. Education, raising global citizens. For Australian families, one of the biggest concerns about moving overseas is education. Will my kids fall behind? Will they adjust? Malaysia's international school system provides surprising answers, often better than what's available in Australia. Cities like Kuala Lumpur have dozens of international schools offering British, American, Australian, and international baccalaureate curricula. These schools are equipped with modern facilities, experienced international teachers, and diverse student bodies that prepare children for a globalized world. The cost? A fraction of private schools in Australia. The Roberts family, who we met earlier, enrolled their daughters in a prestigious international school in Kuala Lumpur. Annual tuition, $12,000 per child. In Australia, comparable private schools cost $25,000 to $35,000 per year. The education quality is actually higher, Lisa Roberts explained. Class sizes are smaller, 18 students versus 30 in Australia. Teachers have more time for individual attention, and the international environment is incredible for their development. Their daughter Sophie, 16, thrived in the diverse environment. My best friends are from Japan, India, and France, Sophie said. I'm learning so much more about the world than I ever would have in Adelaide. And the school has better resources. We have robotics labs, design studios, and even a theater program. For younger children, international schools in Malaysia often feel like extensions of home. Many Australian teachers work at these schools. Familiar curricula reduce adjustment stress, and the multicultural environment helps kids develop empathy and global awareness. But it's not just academic education, it's life education. Children growing up in Malaysia learn to navigate different cultures, languages, and perspectives. They become comfortable with diversity in ways that are harder to achieve in more homogeneous Australian cities. Our daughters are becoming global citizens, Mark Roberts said. They're confident, culturally aware, and adaptable. These are skills that will serve them for life, whether they return to Australia or work internationally. For families worried about university admissions, Malaysian international schools have excellent track records. Students regularly gain admission to top Australian, UK, and US universities, often with better preparation than their Australian peers. And for parents, the school community becomes a social network. International schools organize family events, weekend trips, and parent groups that help newcomers integrate quickly. The digital nomad hub, Work from Paradise. Malaysia has quietly become one of the world's top destinations for digital nomads and remote workers, and Australians are taking notice. With fast internet, modern co-working spaces, and a government actively courting remote workers, Malaysia offers the infrastructure needed for productive work combined with the lifestyle people dream about. Meet James Patterson, a 35-year-old software developer from Melbourne who moved to Penang in 2023. He works for an Australian tech company, earning $110,000 annually while living on about $2,500 per month. I save $5,000 every month, James explained from a beachside cafe in Bada Faringi. In Melbourne, I was living in a tiny apartment, stressed about money, barely saving. Here, I have a 3-bedroom condo. I work from cafes or co-working spaces, and I still save more than I ever could back home. Malaysia's digital nomad scene is concentrated in several key areas. Kuala Lumpur offers urban energy, endless co-working spaces, and a vibrant tech startup community. Penang provides island life with modern amenities and a large digital nomad community. Johor Bahru offers proximity to Singapore for those needing occasional office visits. The government's DE Rantau program offers special digital nomad visas for remote workers earning above a certain threshold, making long-term stays legal and straightforward. But it's not just tech workers. Australian writers, designers, consultants, and educators are discovering they can maintain their careers while dramatically reducing their cost of living. Emma Rodriguez, the teacher we met earlier, teaches English online to Australian students during Australian school hours. Because of the time zone similarity, I can maintain my Australian client base while living here, Emma explained. I earn Australian rates and spend Malaysian prices. It's the best of both worlds. Co-working spaces in Malaysia are affordable, $100 to $200 per month, and well-equipped with high-speed internet, meeting rooms, and social events. Many become communities where remote workers form friendships, collaborate on projects, and support each other's work. The co-working space became my social network, James said. I've met Australians, Europeans, Americans, all doing interesting work while living this incredible lifestyle. It's inspiring and motivating. For Australian remote workers tired of spending 50% of their income on rent, Malaysia offers a solution. You can maintain your career, earn Australian wages, and build wealth while living in a tropical paradise. Retirement paradise, the golden years, golden life. For Australian retirees, Malaysia has become the retirement destination that delivers everything they hoped Australia would: affordable living, great weather, excellent healthcare, and vibrant communities. Malaysia's MM2H, Malaysia My Second Home, program is specifically designed to attract retirees. It offers a 10-year renewable visa for foreigners who meet financial requirements, significantly lower than similar programs in other countries. The typical Australian retiree couple on a pension of $40,000 to $50,000 per year can live comfortably in Malaysia, save money, and enjoy luxuries impossible back home. Meet Richard and Patricia Hamilton, both 69, from Sydney. After spending $3,500 per month on rent alone in Australia, they relocated to Penang in 2022. Our total monthly expenses here are about $2,200, Richard explained. We have a beautiful apartment, a cleaner twice a week. We eat out regularly, play golf, and travel around Southeast Asia. We're saving $1,000 per month. At 69 years old, we're saving money for the first time in decades. Malaysia's tropical climate appeals to retirees tired of Australian winters. Yes, even Australian winters feel cold when you're older. Year-round warm weather means outdoor activities, beach walks, and an active lifestyle. The healthcare factor cannot be overstated. For retirees managing chronic conditions or facing age-related health issues, Malaysia's combination of quality care and affordability is life-changing. I have diabetes and high blood pressure, Patricia explained. In Australia, managing these conditions costs us $600 per month, even with insurance. Here, it's about $150 monthly, including medications. That's $5,400 per year saved just on healthcare. But perhaps the most valuable aspect of retiring in Malaysia is the social environment. Retirees in Australia often experience isolation and loneliness. In Malaysia's expat communities, social activities are constant. We have more friends here than we did in 40 years in Sydney, Richard said. There are regular meetups, beach cleanups, charity work, language classes. We're busier and happier than we've been in years. Malaysia also offers proximity to adult children and grandchildren still in Australia. The 6 to 8 hour flight means family can visit regularly, and retirees can return for important events without the exhaustion of long-haul flights to Europe or the Americas. For Australian retirees watching their savings erode due to inflation and rising costs, Malaysia offers a solution. Maintain dignity, comfort, and quality of life without financial stress. Entrepreneurship, starting fresh without breaking the bank. Malaysia's low cost of living and business-friendly environment are attracting Australian entrepreneurs who found that starting a business in Australia was financially impossible. Meet Sophie Turner, a 31-year-old from Brisbane who wanted to open a wellness studio. In Brisbane, the startup costs were prohibitive. $80,000 for space fit-out, $5,000 monthly rent, insurance, licensing. She needed $150,000 just to open the doors. I couldn't get a loan, and I didn't have that kind of money, Sophie explained from her studio in Kuala Lumpur. I was stuck. In Malaysia, Sophie found a retail space for $1,200 per month, completed a basic fit-out for $15,000, and opened her yoga and Pilates studio for under $30,000 total investment. The business became profitable within 6 months. The low overhead means I could take risks, Sophie said. If it failed, I wouldn't be ruined. That freedom to fail is liberating for entrepreneurs. Malaysia's startup ecosystem is growing rapidly, especially in food and beverage, wellness, education, and digital services. The government offers incentives for certain types of businesses, and the large expat market provides a ready customer base for Western-style services. Australian cafes, fitness studios, consulting firms, and education centers are popping up across Malaysian cities, owned by Australians who found the barriers to entry far lower than back home. The profit margins are better too. With lower overhead costs, businesses can be profitable at lower revenue levels. This reduces stress and increases the chances of success. I'm making less revenue than I would in Australia, but my profit margins are higher, Sophie explained. I take home more money while working fewer hours. That's actual success. For Australian entrepreneurs exhausted by Australia's high costs, complex regulations, and competitive markets, Malaysia offers a chance to build businesses that are both profitable and personally fulfilling. The practical side: visas, banking, and logistics. One question Australians always ask, but how do you actually move there? The logistics are surprisingly straightforward. For retirees, the MM2H program offers a 10-year renewable visa. Requirements include proof of offshore income, a fixed deposit in a Malaysian bank, and health insurance. The process takes 3 to 6 months and costs are reasonable. For remote workers, the DE Rantau Digital Nomad Visa allows up to 12 months of stay, renewable. Requirements include proof of remote employment or freelance income above a threshold. For families, international schools can sponsor long-term social visit passes. Many Australian families enter on tourist visas, enroll kids in school, then convert to dependent passes. Banking is straightforward for expats. Major banks like HSBC, Citibank, and Standard Chartered have expat banking services. You can maintain Australian bank accounts while using Malaysian accounts for daily expenses. The Australian dollar's strength against the Malaysian ringgit, roughly 1 AUD equals 3 MYR, means Australian income or pensions stretch far. Getting set up typically takes 2 to 4 weeks. Find accommodation. Many use Airbnb initially. Open a bank account, get a local SIM card, and explore neighborhoods. The expat community is helpful. There are dozens of Facebook groups where newcomers ask questions and get immediate, helpful responses. The hardest part was making the decision. Jessica Chen said. Once I arrived, everything fell into place quickly. Malaysians are incredibly welcoming, and the expat community helps with everything. For Australians worried about leaving behind family and friends, modern technology makes staying connected easy. Video calls, social media, and affordable flights back to Australia mean you're never truly disconnected. Top 5 Malaysian cities where Australians are moving. Kuala Lumpur. The capital offers urban energy, endless dining and entertainment, excellent international schools, and a huge expat community. Perfect for professionals, families, and anyone who loves city life. Penang. Known as the Pearl of the Orient, Penang offers beach living, incredible food, a large retiree community, and lower costs than KL. Georgetown's colonial charm and modern amenities make it ideal for retirees and remote workers. Johor Bahru. Located right next to Singapore, JB offers the best of both worlds. Malaysian affordability with access to Singapore's opportunities. Popular with families and professionals who work in Singapore. Ipoh, a quieter city with colonial architecture, surrounded by nature, offering the lowest cost of living. Perfect for retirees seeking peace and budget-conscious families. Langkawi, a tropical island with duty-free status, pristine beaches, and a small but tight-knit expat community. Ideal for retirees and remote workers seeking island paradise living. Each city offers something different, but all provide the core benefits: affordability, quality of life, and welcoming communities. Is Malaysia the answer to Australia's cost of living crisis? For thousands of Australians, the answer is clear: yes. Malaysia offers something increasingly rare: the ability to live well without financial anxiety. Whether you're a retiree on a fixed income, a family struggling with housing costs, a remote worker seeking better quality of life, or an entrepreneur wanting to start a business without massive debt, Malaysia provides solutions. This isn't about abandoning Australia. Many Australian expats maintain strong connections to home, visit regularly, and plan to return someday. But for now, Malaysia gives them what Australia can't: financial freedom, quality healthcare, vibrant communities, and the ability to enjoy life without constant money stress. The Australian dream was always about quality of life: owning a home, raising healthy kids, enjoying retirement with dignity. For growing numbers of Australians, that dream is now more achievable in Malaysia than in Australia itself. We want to hear from you. If you had the chance, would you move to Malaysia for a year? Forever? What's holding you back? Let us know in the comments. Your thoughts might help someone else make this life-changing decision. And if you're already living in Malaysia or considering the move, share your story. The comments section has become a community of Australians helping Australians navigate this journey. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Watch next: Penang versus Kuala Lumpur. Which Malaysian city is right for you? It might just help you choose your new home.